Light Years podcast. Today we are brought to you by, we're brought to you by Price Picks, but we are brought to you by Andy Liu and Neil. No Sam Esfandiari. I think this is the first show in, I don't know how long. It's been like a
Parts
year.
unknown right now for Sam. Not
did-
totally unknown. Not totally
he-
unknown.
He did pop into the pregame.
did.
Looked like he was as ready to go as the Warriors. Honestly, he looked locked in.
I'd argue that I think he would have had a positive plus minus in his current state.
Yeah.
So
better than the defense that we saw from the Warriors today. But no. Neil and I are gonna run this show today. We got some good stuff for you guys. But this is the first. I think this is the first show that we're gonna have to talk a little bit of the bad stuff, right? The Warriors today. Yep. I don't even want to talk about the score, but we're gonna bring up the score here. The Warriors lose to the Portland Trailblazers on the second end of a back-to-back, 139 points. The Blazers scored 139 points to 119. Neil, kick us off. Just give us your overall thought.
I mean, listen, I don't know if you recall in the Light Years group chat yesterday, I did, we'll probably might get into this a little bit. I don't know if we will. We got into the whole, Chauncey Billups thing, and, they now have an interim coach, and, there was the news, Warriors are going into Portland facing a team that's scrambling without a head coach now. And I said in the chat, I'm like, listen, this is going to be, I could see this a mile away. This is going to be a peak double-digit loss. Like I said, Chris Murray would go for 30. Now I didn't get that part right, but this is just a classic old Warriors team on a back-to-back. They were like, especially in the third quarter, I thought there were points that they did not look to care to play any defense, especially internally. The Blazers were getting easy buckets at the rim. Steph, he shot the ball well, but he had some, bad turnovers. The Warriors as a whole, I think 20 plus turnovers today. It's just one of those classic back-to-back, second end of a back-to-back like L's that I think we've seen from the Warriors too over, in the Steve Kerr era, but like definitely over the last few years, especially as they've gotten older. So I'm not that surprised, to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of looked like they didn't want to play today outside of Steph. It is a little concerning to me that the guy that looked the best the first 24 minutes of the game is Steph, who's 37 years old, going on 38, damn near 40 years old. You would think that the team would play with a little more energy. It's not like outside of the top 3-4 guys, everyone else is under 25, right? So it is a pretty young team everywhere else. And we'll get to some of the players that did well and some of the players that really, really, really struggled today. But I don't know, Neil. Like, is it concerning long term? You think for the season, or is it kind of just it's 3 games in, man? Like they won 2.
I'm not overly concerned, to be perfectly honest, with like this particular performance. Again, like I kind of, you could see that. And also, like the classic, interim head coach bounce. Now, I don't think now it is a unique circumstance because normally it's like a coach gets fired for like just being a bad head coach, and then players play for the new head, whoever the new head coach is. This is a little bit different situation. Like, obviously like a coach getting arrested is a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, like I'm not overly concerned. I mean, I think that they shot the ball at the Blazers shoot, like, what did they shoot, like 9 for 11 from 3, like in the second quarter. And they kind of just kept going, and like I think Matisse Thybulle hit a 3, which like God knows a lot. He's normally not a good shooter, so it's one of those things that happen. I mean, the defense, and I think the one thing to be concerned about, and I think this kind of maybe gets into the Pods part of it a little bit, is Pods goes to the bench, Post is in the starting lineup, and I would imagine we can maybe see what Steve says in his post game, but I would imagine that. Doesn't want to continually play Draymond at the 5. Al Horford's not playing, so he probably thought it was an opportunity to put Post in the starting lineup, and hopefully get some good minutes out of him. But I think the one concern for me is outside of Horford and Draymond playing the 5, I don't have a lot of confidence in Post and TJD too.
So I think that's actually the theme of the story today's game. So I do think like watching. So first off, the Warriors started Steph, Draymond, Jimmy, obviously. They went with Kuminga, still, who's been awesome this season. And then the fifth guy, they went with Quinn Post. So that was the difference tonight. They didn't want to play Draymond at the 5. I think Kerr has kind of brought it up repeatedly. Hey, we don't want to play Draymond at the 5. We don't want to play Draymond at the 5. So they bench Pods. And they put Post in there. And I think the theme across at least the last 2 games is that this team's been really bad defensively. Like really. How many points was it tonight at halftime? It was almost.
They're down 13.
Halftime.
Yeah, almost 70. Yeah.
70 points. Same thing yesterday. 69 points. Obviously, yesterday Aaron Gordon went off for 7 threes in the first half. Tonight, you're just watching these guys run up and down the court by you. And tonight's a little more. I think it's a little more like. You get more excuses tonight. Like you talked about, it's just like older team. You don't really want to run up and down the court on the road against a team with Tumani Kamara. I mean, come on.
So
man.
The Blazers are, they're a young athletic team too. Like, I think that they're like a little underrated just in terms of their talent.
Right.
I do like their talent a lot. I don't know if I could easily see them making the play, and I don't know how far they can go past that. But yeah, I think that's something you guys have talked about too, is like how will the Warriors fare against like these sort of young athletic teams that like are, they're like, the Blazers were pressing too the whole, I think the Warriors were having a lot of trouble there, and they were getting up and like playing really good defense. So I think it's just one of those things. They caught the Blazers at a bad time. And yeah,
I'm kind of, I'm willing to give it a throwaway. Like it's just kind of if it's going to be something like this, what are you supposed to do? Tumani Kamara is an awesome wing guy. Shadon Sharp is a totally different player, but similar in terms of like, he's just coming at you. Fitz brought it up multiple times, but it was a good point. It's just like, they're just coming at you every time. And like in a single game, is Jimmy Butler going to let Kamara go by him? Shadon Sharp, is he going to turn the ball over? Is he going to go drive right by you every time in a single game? No. But on a Friday night in Portland, second end of a back-to-back, like they just flew in late last night. You can't, right? Like you can't sit guys 3 games into the season. Like it's just kind of ridiculous. Like 3 games of the season, you can't just be like, Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, like go take a seat, right? Unless you're Al Horford, right? Where it's like he hasn't played back-to-backs in like 5 years, right?
Right.
But like Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond, it's like. It's 3 games and you got to at least into the fourth quarter, but it's just one of those games where it's frustrating. It's like hindsight's 2020, but you could almost be like kind of better off not playing tonight, but you don't want to throw the game away. Like they're kind of in a bind, right? Where it's like probably weren't ever going to win this game, but you still gotta go.
Yeah, listen, I did just gas up Portland, but you would still like. On paper, they're obviously like a better team. But I don't know. I think that I feel like they were almost, I don't know. They might've been considering sitting one of Steph, Draymond, Jimmy. But yeah, I don't know. As we'll go back to, as I said before, I think they really need to look at the deadline for some sort of, it could just be a bench big. we'd have to kind of think about like names, but like some sort of bench big, even like a bench wing or something. Because like I think, and another point is like they with Moody, played tonight in very limited minutes, and then we have Melton coming back, and then I don't know how much Seth Curry is going to actually play when he joins the team in November. But like now you're going to have like what is that, like 6 guards, give or take? Not including Steph, of course, but I think it's then you have to think about like where is the size going to be, and I think that's kind of been an issue for the Warriors, like against Minnesota. Like they just couldn't in the playoffs, couldn't handle that, especially once Steph went down.
Let's talk about guards for a second. Let's talk about the guy that was out of the starting lineup tonight. And I think kind of the talk of the town, at least on Twitter, and for people that watched it, was Brandin Podziemski. 22 minutes tonight, didn't start, 2 for 9 shooting, 1 for 3 from 3. Turned the ball over twice, minus 17, which is not good for a guy that's one of the best plus minus. Didn't seem like he was into it.
Steve loves to harp on that. The best plus minus on the Warriors.
Love that. Does love him.
Love saying that. Yeah.
Tweaked his ankle a little bit.
Yep.
I don't know.
After
What did you think?
after he smoked, he like went for that like little Steph floater, like
Yeah,
just had no touch
airball.
on that.
Yeah.
Lands hurts his ankle. That was a rough sequence. I mean, last year he started off slow too.
Yeah.
And maybe he's just one of those. I mean, there are just players, and not just basketball and sports, who just like struggle out of the gate, and it takes a little time for them to find their rhythm, and then they kind of pick it up. But I think also like he's a rotational guard. I mean, that's like what he is. So it's kind of what you would kind of expect him just to have like these bad shooting nights, because like I don't think he's so. I mean, like in the first 2 games, he starts alongside Steph, but I don't think long term he's a starting point guard or 2 guard or whatever he's going to play. I think he's a rotational guard at best, and of course, this is why people were harping on the front office to trade him for market, and of course, that didn't happen. But yeah, I think he's a guy who needs rhythm. I think he's a guy who probably will just take some time to get into the season. But yeah, I mean, I honestly I also just don't view him as like a franchise needle mover. And like, we've seen the quotes of him saying like, I want to lead this franchise when Steph retires. I want to be as good as Steph. And of course, confidence is great, but you also kind of need to recognize what kind of player you are and how good you are, and your skill set. And I don't think he'll ever be like I don't think he'll ever make an all-star team. You know what I mean?
I think
yeah.
I agree with you. I think though the problem with him right now is because he struggled through the first 3 games of the season. So it's again he struggled for like the first almost 30 games of the season last year, and then really came on down the stretch. Was really good when Jimmy was there. So I don't generally have any issues with what he's going, like what he is as a player right now. Like he's just going to be a really good player for a long time. Agree with you on the kind of the total upside. I do think it's interesting to think about. And Sam's brought this up. It is his contract extension year. He is looking at restricted free agency potentially. He's going to want a contract extension at the end of the year. Those things tend to mess with people.
He probably just saw what Kuminga went through, right? But then he also is seeing that Kuminga is locked into. So you're right though. It's like some players some players thrive like when they're facing a contract year, a contract extension. Some players play great, and then they get the contract, and then after they get the contract, that's when they drop off. So, but it might be just the reverse for Pods.
I not anything I'm like concerned about or anything. It's still super early, right? But to what you're saying, like I think that's a thing to think about. Like it is.
Yeah.
I mean, like I can't imagine Pods is probably too happy coming on the starting lineup tonight. Right? Like, most people wouldn't be happy. There's not a him thing. It's not just a Pods thing. But, a guy that's playing for, you're looking at $20 million a year per year across 4 years, $80 million. Like, that's a fuck ton of money potentially that Pods can sign for, right? Or does he end up like Kuminga? Or does he end up like some of these other guys? Like Cam Thomas got $8 million. I'm not saying any of these things are things that are going to happen to him. Just, I think, something to think about throughout this season. As players play for contracts, he's young. He's very young, and so I think makes it very difficult moving forward. But again, it's 3 games, right? On the other hand, it's 3 games. He probably just need a couple. He's a streaky shooter. I don't like Neil. Do you think he's improved? Have you seen like noticeable improvement in anything in his game so far across 3 games? I think that's something to monitor. I don't really see anything. He kind of feels like the same guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's of course still elite at taking charges. Like that's like every year you can bank that he's going to lead the league in charges taken. So I mean, and like I think instinctually defensively he's not bad. I think that's probably why Steve likes him a lot, because he loves those kind of like high IQ players who may not wow you physically, but like will like make the right play, quote unquote, or like move on defense the right way. So yeah, I don't. I mean, again, 3 games. Like I think also it's just a matter of where you just got to overreact to things like through like such an early sample size, which that's what sometimes what makes sports fandom fun and painful at the same time. But I honestly like the 3 games. I don't see anything super different with this game. Again, of course, and it's funny if you compare that to Kuminga who we'll get into probably, but like
Yeah.
you see just a stark difference in like just the little things. I think is with Kuminga is the biggest thing. Just like how much he's improved there. But yeah, with Pods, I don't really see the improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll give him some more time. I just think curious to bring up. They'll need him. I mean, they'll need him to win these games. I mean, they really needed him tonight. They needed Moody tonight. They needed a better Buddy Hield tonight. They needed better games. They really needed better games from guys that just weren't the unction, right? The unction team they carried them last night, and tonight's a game where it's like, all right, well, the old guys carried us last night. Can we get the younger guys to play a great game? And generally those guys didn't show up. Like, I don't know how much I expect from Will Richard, but like he's a rookie, right? But Quentin Post wasn't good. Trace Jackson Davis was, I mean, he was good when the game was kind of over already, but he wasn't really good when it mattered, right? So kind of just these are the type of games I think when you're talking about a team that could potentially win like 55 games, maybe these are the games you steal with really good depth young players. But end of the day, I think like it goes back to Steph, right? Steph was great tonight, so we'll talk about the good stuff here in a second. But before we do, we'll stop and pay some bills here. Light Years Podcast, we are brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks, best way to win real money this summer. I guess we're getting into autumn, fall now, right? But make your picks in less than 60 seconds. Turn your sports bets takes into real money all season long on PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Want to pick more on Josh Allen's pass yards, rush yards, and TDs? I got another one for you. We got the Fall Classic right now. My Toronto Blue Jays just took a game off of the Dodgers. We've got game 2 coming. Could go more. You could stack up some more on Kevin Gausman, forever Giant, elite starting pitcher. Giants probably should have re-signed him. You can pick more on the amount of strikeouts that he's going to have. You can go more with the amount of innings that he's gonna pitch. You can go more on game score, which is a aggregate of all those things. So you can pick all of them in the same lineup, and you can only do that on PrizePicks. Absolutely, really easy to use. Create a lineup. All you gotta do again, pick more or less on a few player stats for your shot to win. So download the app today. Use code LightYears. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's called LightYears, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. And LightYears Podcast, we are brought to you by Body Spec. Everyone knows Body Spec. Everyone knows where to get a DEXA scan. Everyone knows why you need to get a DEXA scan. You got the Warriors doing it. You got all the elite athletes coming in and doing it year round. It's not just about getting your weight, right? It's not just about understanding like, oh, I'm 150 pounds or I'm 200 pounds or whatever it is. I need to get a certain amount. You really want to understand an accurate, detailed look at your body composition, right? Your lean muscle, your fat, your bone density. Set up those goals. You could track your progress. You don't got to guess on stuff. You don't got to look at outdated methods. I went a couple months back. It takes like 30 minutes. You're in, you're out. They've got locations everywhere. They got them in the Bay Area. They got them in LA. I know like 40% of our listeners are in LA. They got in Texas, Seattle. You can all go all over. They've got mobile vans that you can book as well. So you can go book your first DEXA scan with Body Spec today. Go do that. Use LightYears 45. Take the first step towards your best code yet. So listen, right now, best deal you'll find online. $45 with the code LightYears45. That's right, just $45 to get a complete science-backed snapshot of your health and fitness, all at the touch of a button. Go hit up our guys at Body Spec. And lastly, most importantly, go like and subscribe. Help us out.
Yep.
Whether you like us, don't like us, don't care. Hit the like button anyway. Hit the subscribe button anyway. Nah, you guys.
Follow on socials, Instagram, Twitter,
Always.
podcast
Everywhere.
Do all that. Yeah.
All right, dude. Let's talk about some fun stuff, man. I'm sad we didn't get to do, or at least I didn't get to do the game last night, where the Warriors won an OT. But I gotta say, dude, across 3 games, the biggest surprise on this team has been Jonathan Kuminga. He has been unbelievable. I like reading the stat line kind of doesn't do it justice, I think, right? Like 24 minutes, 4 for 7, hit all his free throws, all 7, 16 points, 8 rebounds, by the way, 3 assists, 2 steals. I don't think that matters. Like the numbers look fine, but really, like, you gotta watch the game to see what he looks like out there. He looks like someone that fits Steve Kerr's system. He looks like someone that's been in the system for 4+ years now. He gets it. He wants to play that way. At least it looks like it right now. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think I mentioned earlier that like it's the little things that you see with him that is the huge improvement. Like I think in the Lakers in the first game of the season against the Lakers, I think there were a couple possessions like early on in the game where I think he stepped out of bounds on one play and then he made a bad pass or something like on another play, and it was like, oh, here we go, same old Kuminga, like, you know, making these like low IQ plays, dumb plays. But then as the game went on, he just like he knew when to cut. He knew like on defense he was like tenacious. Like his shot making looks better. I think that's another thing. He's obviously hit all his free throws, which is a huge problem with him. He's making the right reads. He's not. Also, I think another thing that I noticed with him over the first few years of his career was in Steve Kerr's offense, everyone's got to know, you know, where to be, where to cut, you know, kind of where on the court they got to be. And he would sometimes clog up the paint, like maybe not be in the right place. And the first 3 games, he's been everywhere where you need him to be, and just again doing those little things. So I think it kind of speaks to the fact that he's definitely bought in. It seems like from the outside that him and Steve have had, you know, like kind of a heart to heart a little bit, some good conversations. You know, especially after like Steve obviously wasn't involved with the contract stuff, but I think obviously there was the thing where Kuminga kind of called them out, and what was it, like 2 years ago? All the last few seasons kind of blend together, but obviously their relationship has, you know, been a little rocky in the past. But I think if they're on the same page, I think that's only a good thing. And of course, we got to see as we get closer to the trade deadline, like who's out there and who we can trade for. But I mean, if he's playing like this, I mean, I don't see a scenario where you trade him unless it's for like a really high impact player, because I think this is what we've kind of been screaming for the Warriors for a while, is this athletic wing who can play and also who can play 2 ways. And if he's playing like this, I mean, he's your answer. He's your solution. And, you know, he just signed to a new contract.
I was going to say, if this is what he's going to look like through 82 games or 90 games or whatever it is, like that contract is going to get extended for a long
sure.
time.
Yeah.
One big difference I think I see in his game across the first 3 is the willingness to pass, going to the rim. I think, look, I think passing in a motion offense is like it's easy if you want to pass, right? Like guys that are pass first, like are going to make the right pass. Like Draymond's going to pass, Pods is going to pass. Like they're going to swing the ball, they're going to make the right GP2. They're always going to make the right pass because they're looking to pass. It is really difficult, I think, to make the right pass when you're also having to dribble, which not a lot of guys on this team know how to do that. I mean, it's Jeff. And then a little bit of Draymond, but other than that, it's really just Kuminga. Can you make something happen off the dribble? Can you make the right decisions? I know he had 4 turnovers tonight, but it kind of did feel that every time he got to the hole, and same thing last night, every time he got into the paint, made the right decision. Yeah. Whether it be kicking it out for 3, kicking it to someone down low, kicking it Draymond down low. I just think about what he did with Draymond last night. Just huge, smart decision making that, I don't know, Neil, like if that's sustainable.
I think it is. I mean, I think also enormous. Yeah, I think it's totally, and I think we also look where he came from too. I think because he came from the G League Ignite team, right? And I think there's kind of been the thing where it's been like coming from college might benefit you a little more. I think you're probably gonna get better coaching in college, and Kuminga obviously didn't get that, and he only played 1 year, obviously, with the G League Ignite. So I think we also just have to recognize that it just might have taken him longer to develop, and some players just take a little longer than we hope. And Steve Kerr's offense isn't necessarily the easiest thing for like young players to pick up. Now, some obviously do it a lot better than others. But yeah, I'm really, really excited with what he provides and how he's looked in the first 3 games, because I think he just provides a level of athleticism that the team doesn't really have outside of him. I mean, could you like who would like beat, like, I guess Gary Payton is the next.
I just even be.
No, I think you went on mute. You're back.
So my mic got lost for. Yeah. I just think also, dude, like beyond that, it's the athleticism, but it's also, he's also the only guy that's willing to be aggressive. And this is where I think all the Kuminga fans in the playoffs kind of mention, like, hey, when Steph is out, and tonight Steph was great, so it wasn't when Steph is out, right? But you're talking about games like this where it's like, okay, Jimmy's not gonna have it this game. Like you just know Jimmy's 10 free throws tonight, but he wasn't moving great. Like he wasn't playing at 100%. He shouldn't, right?
On defense too, Jimmy was like he got beat a bunch of times, like kind of to the basket. Like guys are just going right by him. So
Draymond's. And Draymond looks like he's just like, look, he probably was the guy that was like, hey man, like you put pods in, right?
Oh, he definitely. I think Draymond probably Oh, he probably also advocated he probably wanted to sit too. I don't think.
Right.
I don't think. Well, no, I don't know.
I just think he's sitting there saying like, hey, I need a 5 next to me. I can't just play the 5 again tonight.
Yeah.
Right. So in games like that, right, you need someone that actually wants to make something happen. Now, the offense wasn't really the problem tonight, but I do think like moving forward, there's going to be more and more opportunity for someone like Kuminga to do that, because it's also like they turn the ball over 25 times.
Yeah, and you're going to get that with like, I mean, we've seen that like ever since Steve was the head coach. Like they just have these games where they just like can't, like they can barely like make it up the floor without like turning the ball over, and it compounds on itself. And usually it's not the third. Usually the third quarter Warriors like actually. And initially, I think to start the third quarter today, they kind of were playing pretty well. Like they cut it to like 9 or 8 or something, and then they turned it over a couple times. Blazers hit some threes, and that was it. But
I think it'll be interesting to see what happens now that Moody's back. I think that's probably someone else we need to talk about. Moody played 21 minutes tonight. Didn't shoot the ball well, but generally looked pretty solid. But it looked okay. Kind of looked about the same. But I do think like is he going to start playing more? Is Pods, Kuminga, and Moody, they don't all play the same position, but they do kind of eat each other up for minutes, right? Because provided that everyone's healthy, they do kind of play into each other. Like, I don't know if Kuminga will get 30 plus minutes, right? Maybe there are going to be games like Pods where, Pods played 22 minutes tonight. Is he going to get his usual allotment of 33 minutes? Because we know that's, that Steve would love to play Pods 30-something minutes, right? He's the type of player that usually can play a bunch of minutes and be a plus outside of tonight. So I think it'd be interesting. How did you think Moody looked tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty much what I expected. Like he missed most of the preseason. I mean, we knew he would be on a minutes restriction. He would definitely look rusty. I think, and as we mentioned at the top of the show, kind of about the defense being concerning, I think he's actually like a huge key, because especially last year after the Jimmy trade, when when they were going down the stretch and winning games, like him being locked in defensively and just wreaking havoc on the perimeter that's like a huge part of it. And I think also like when Melton comes back, that's another thing. And I think that's another question is like, when Moody and Melton are fully in the mix and they're playing like the minutes they should, who loses minutes? Because like we know Steve loves to play Pods, but I think it might be Pods because of all the other options. I just think that he's probably the odd man out. I mean, assuming Kuminga is playing at this level or close to it, like even 80% of it, like going forward, I mean, I don't know how you can't really take him out. I mean, Steph is obviously a given. Jamie's a given. I think Draymond, like, is Draymond going to go to the bench sometimes, like just to maybe also ease off his center minutes? So I think it's a really interesting question of when you get Moody and Melton back, like what does the rotation look like from there? So
just to throw it to the comments real quick, some of the guys are bringing up a good point. I think everyone's kind of hitting it on the head. It's the defense that has struggled. Like it's pretty ugly to watch. Like they struggled tonight. They struggled last night. It's a little bit of miscommunication. Like just watching Aaron Gordon shoot 7 threes, you're kind of like, well, they're leaving him open. It's not
even
like he's
on
bullying him.
Yeah, on that
right?
go ahead three that he hit, like toward the end of regulation, like before Steph hit that second long three to tie it. Like it was just a miscommunication. Where like, how do you leave him open of all people? Right? It's like that's the guy you need. Like, and I think also that just comes with like I think as the season gets on,
It
I'm
might
not really
it might
worried.
be rust.
Yeah.
It
might be. Yeah,
it might.
That's what I think.
So that's the part.
Yeah.
That's the part where I'm like, all right, it might just be game 3. It might just be like these guys, need a little bit more time playing together. Man, some of the comments are angry tonight about the loss. So some people are just really. I think guys, I don't know.
I think it's just off the. I mean, there's such a good vibes win yesterday, right? It's just like such a. It just feels like such a letdown, and it's also like again, Portland is like. I think they're a good team. I think they're actually pretty underrated, but it's a team on paper you should probably beat. But it was also. I think it was also more the effort today. They just kind of looked like they didn't really care.
That's really that's the only concern for me. Like high level, that's the only concern for me. Where it's like, hey man, like in a real game, if it's a 1 day rest, right? You win this game. But the concern for me is always like, okay, well, can you get better games from guys like Pods? Like they needed better. The TJD needed to be better tonight. Post needed to be better tonight. Kuminga is the only one that showed up of the guys that were younger. So it's like. Can you get that unit to be better? Because you look at this Portland team, it's not like they're super talented. Like they're talented. I think Shadon Sharper is talented. Kamara is talented. I don't think they're super duper talented. Now, those guys are better than what the Warriors have from a second timeline perspective. I think, right? Like Kamara, Sharp, some of these other guys are probably more talented than the Warriors second timeline guys. Yeah, I mean they are. Like Klingon. I mean, Daniel Avdija is really good.
Decent,
Avdija's a little bit older, but I just Chris Murray like didn't miss tonight. Like what the fuck was that? So it's like you Matisse Thybulle is an older guy, but it's like you it's not like this is the OKC, right? Younger guys. Like you should be able to play better against a team like that. It's not like they're this amazing talented team. So I think that's one area of concern if I were to be like.
Yeah, I mean, we've also seen them play down, play quote unquote play down competition. Like remember, I think last year, like that game against, remember that game down the stretch against the Spurs, where like if they had won that game, they probably didn't have to go to the play in, and then they who was it? Harrison Barnes was it Harrison Barnes who hit that game winner? So it's just like it's just a matter of like the years you play.
But and, like this. This is the year where it's like, look, man, like JK's in year 5, right? Moody's in year 5, Pod's year 3. Like this is the year where it's like, you know what I mean? Like those type of games you can't lose as much anymore. So again, we'll see. A couple weeks from now, whatever. This is just game 3.
I think it's something to monitor. Like if you over the next, let's say after 15 games, and especially the team, like the games you're supposed to win, because like, good teams win those games. Like contending teams win those games. So it's definitely something to monitor. Like who do they have? They have Memphis right on Monday. So
we'll get to that.
So we'll kind of look ahead at the schedule, but I think it's it's only concerning if it compounds and like they continually like show lackluster effort on defense, like play down to competition, like not care like on the on the road. So it's just things like that.
At some point you can't be like, all right, Steph had 35 tonight. You can't be like, all right, Steph, like third game out of 4 nights, go get 50 so that we can win this game against Portland. It's like maybe Paul should go get 20, right? Yeah. Maybe Moody can play defense. Maybe Kuminga can play whatever. I don't even want to bring him in because he was so good today. Yeah. So it's like these guys just have to be better, provide more so that you don't have to rely on, all right, Jimmy, you're going to have to play 38 minutes tonight for them to beat Portland. Like it just, at the very least, it shouldn't be a game where you lose by 20. So, all right. Well, before we do that, we'll get to our final break here before we talk about the preview for the next week because the Warriors got a 4-game week next week. Before we do that, Light Years Podcast, we are brought to you by ZBiotic, our new sponsor. One of my favorites. I have to tell you about this game-changing product I use before night-out with drinks. It's called Pre-Alcohol. ZBiotic's Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's a buildup of this byproduct, not dehydration. That's the blame for rough days after drinking. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly and you'll feel your best tomorrow. Every time I have pre-alcohol before drinks, I notice a difference the next day. Even after a night out, I can confidently plan on living my normal life at work or at the gym without worry. Fall's here, so that means to enjoy cooler weather and some drinks out with friends. Go to zbiotics.com/lightyears to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use light years at checkout. ZBiotics is backed with 100% money back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/lightyears. Use the code lightyears at checkout for 15% off. And lastly, I think everyone's favorite Lightyears podcast, we are brought to you by Skims. Did you guys know that Skims is coming to the Bay? I think I just saw a store in Valley Fair and SJ. I think, Neil, your hood. I think there was one coming out in Burlingame. Skims is everywhere,
South
man.
Bay represent. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Skims is everywhere. I'm wearing Skims right now. I don't want to get up because I'm wearing Skims right now. I can't. But the great thing about Skims, just you can wear it wherever, dude. I wear it going to sleep, wear it going out. I wear it playing basketball. The comfort is insane. I get these cotton 5-inch briefs. I've gotten like 5 of them from Skims. I've gotten a couple samples from them. Then I went and bought a ton. Just super comfortable that you can wear all the time. Even if I'm gaining a couple pounds, it still fits. I'm like, oh, hey, I can gain a few, and then you lose a few, you know, better. It's perfect. The fabric's awesome. The fit's awesome. It fits my lifestyle, whatever I want to do. I wear it over really everything else. All I wear now. Bought in like 5, 6, 7, 8 of these, and it's all I wear. Just keep it on a rotation every single week. So, shop Skims Men's at skims.com. Let them know we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey, select our show Light Years in the drop down menu that follows Shop Skims Men's at skims.com. And remember, most importantly, guys, make sure to like, subscribe on YouTube, hit the follow button on Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Hit us with the 5 stars, whatever it is. Hit us with questions. We got you. All right. Let's get to the last part of the show. Yeah. Let's get to the fun part, dude. So the Warriors are 2-1. Beat the Lakers on Tuesday. Beat the Nuggets on Thursday. They lose tonight. Back-to-back again on Friday in Portland. They get 2 days off. Okay. Neil, I want to get your thoughts on the next week. All right. So this is the schedule. All right. So they get 2 days off. They got Memphis on Monday. They got the Clippers on Tuesday. Another one of those dreaded. Yeah, freaking dude. Adam Silver's a scumbag.
I swear, like a few years ago, there was like talk. Adam Silver, like, oh, we're getting rid of back-to-backs. Like
he's a horrible person.
I just feel like there's more back-to-backs than ever. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, he's got bigger. He's got a bunch. Like we thought the Clippers thing was going to be like his biggest problem. That's like it's like third or fourth on the list. So I don't think he's thinking of back-to-backs anytime soon. Unfortunately,
he's not worried about back-to-backs. I don't think Adam Silver knows what back-to-backs are. But anyway, so they've got the Clippers on Tuesday. Got Memphis and then Clippers. Clippers did lose the other night to the Jazz, but they bounced back tonight. They beat the Suns, and then they go on the road. Okay, so next Thursday they go on the road to Milwaukee, and then they play in Indiana on Saturday. So Neil, give us your impressions on the week. Give us your predictions. What are you thinking?
Well, first off, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit to Milwaukee, and I'll make an overall prediction. But I think in Milwaukee, so is Kuminga? He's going to be checking out homes there? Is that like he's going to be his?
Oh boy.
Lake will give him he'll look up some house on Zillow, show him the beautiful neighborhood of Milwaukee. No, I'm kidding.
Brutal. That's brutal. But after the start that he's had, hey, sell high.
Hey, it's a brutal league, brutal business. You gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, ship Wiggins out of town like it was nothing. So
yeah,
NBA champ. But yeah, so listen, so we got home Grizzlies, back-to-back home Clippers. They're definitely not. I don't think they're winning both those games for sure.
1-1.
Clippers is probably now. So I mean, the Grizzlies, I don't really think are that. I mean, they're pretty injured too, to be fair. but I don't really think too much of them, to be perfectly honest. Like, like Jaw's good, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that feels
I
like a
don't
win.
love the Grizz. That feels like a win,
Yeah,
especially after 2
yeah.
days. After 2 days off.
Yeah, Jaw's game time decision. I think Memphis is playing it back. I think Memphis is playing Sunday, so that's you kind of have to win that one.
So you have a huge rest advantage there, and you get 2 days off too, so that should be a win. Clippers is probably an L, and then I can't even remember the last time they beat the Clippers, which is it's funny because they used to always beat the Clippers, especially like during from 2015 to that 2019 time. They owned the Clippers, and then it's kind of reversed over the last couple of years. So maybe Kawhi will be busy planting trees somewhere or something. So so maybe we'll sit that one out. So let's say 1-on-1 there. I think Milwaukee. That's the Thursday, right?
Yeah, it's a Thursday.
Yeah. So I'll give them a win there. I mean, obviously Giannis is Giannis, but I think in general the Warriors have not been terrible against the Bucks over the last few years, which is kind of surprising considering like the amount of size they usually have. But I'll give them a win there, and I'll give them. I'll you know what? I'm feeling optimistic. I will give them a win in Indiana as well. No Halliburton. I still think the Pacers actually are pretty. They're not. I don't think they're that bad actually. I think
they're pretty good. They're solid. Yeah.
They got Kuminga. They got Kuminga in the East. And Benedict Mathurin. I feel like there's so many. I feel like there's so many comparisons to those guys. To those two.
So I think Mathurin's better, but
I do think he's better. Yeah, he's definitely been more consistent for sure. But that's
better shooter, better ball handler. I agree with you. I think they go 3-1. But here's the funny part. I think they win the first two. I think they lose in Indiana because
it's the last game. Yeah, it's like Dude, are they on the road after Indiana or
no? They come back home. They actually get 2 days off. They come back home for Phoenix and Sac, which is hilarious.
Those should be.
They got a good schedule. Good schedule. But
last game of a road trip, you could see them definitely like just phoning it in.
That's where this team just it feels like. So it feels like okay. So it feels like a Memphis is probably a must win. It's like they're going to be tired. Ja might not even play. I do think with the LA game is going to be interesting. Like I do think it's one of those games where it's like the same with Denver, right? It's like, hey, we want to make a statement that we're a contender, that we're a real contender. Everyone's talking about Denver. Everyone's talking about OKC, obviously, and then everyone's bringing up the Clippers. They're a loaded fucking team, but it's like, hey, we're still here. Right, I think that was kind of what Thursday against Denver was like, hey, we're still here, Steph, we're still here, Jimmy still got it, we're good enough to win a title. So I do think they win that game. I think everyone plays that game. Horford probably won't, but I do think they win that game. I'm with you on the Milwaukee one. They're a pretty decent matchup for Milwaukee if everyone's healthy and on the court. So I think that's a good matchup. Milwaukee seems like you just don't have enough scoring. It's a weirdly built team. And then Indiana is one of those where it's like, Mather might go for 30. Nembhard might go for 25.
Oh, Nembhard for sure. There was that game. I think it was at Chase Center, right, where he just like popped off and was talking shit to Steph, and I think that everyone was like, "What the hell? Like, who is?" And I think this is also before like he was like he's like kind of a household name in terms of like he's like a really solid player, but like I think at the time no one really. I think he was a rookie and like no one knew who he was. It was just like, who is this guy? But yeah, I could definitely see Nembhard like going for 30 and like Mathurin going for 20 and like Siakam hitting like a bunch of like floaters over Draymond.
Oh, 100%. Oh yeah.
NBA Finals sort of. Yeah.
I kind of like might put money on that. You know, like Chauncey, like our guy Chauncey. It just kind of feels like a game that Indiana is just gonna be like, all right, well you're 3-0 this week. Like it's the Warriors are probably just gonna mess around. They're gonna be down 20 and. Not like what we saw tonight. Like it feels like a young team just gonna run up and down, tired legs on the road. Warriors are probably not gonna get up for that game. So again, it is just kind of pull it back out. Pause. Just kind of take the higher, broader look at it. It's a tough schedule. It's another back-to-back. It's a lot of games. It's a 4-game week after a week where you go 3 and 4 nights. But after that, the schedule lightens up, and the Warriors. Like here's the thing. Here's kind of how I feel, Neil. Like about the crazy schedule in the beginning. It's like they're healthy. Yeah. Go play this crazy schedule now because
I'd rather they get the tougher part of the schedule out of the way. And like let's be honest, like they're in the West. Like this is just like what you're gonna have to deal with.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So it's like so I don't think that they should look at it as like, oh, this is like how are we going to get through this stretch of this tough stretch? That's going to be your whole season. I mean, there'll be stretches, but there'll be easier games. But like when you play in the West, you gotta this is kind of the shit you got to go through. So
yeah, it's like Steph hasn't tweaked an ankle yet. Jimmy hasn't hurt his hip. Draymond's knee is still good. Like I'd rather them go through the toughest part of the schedule in the beginning 40 games of the season versus in January when guys are just like trying to take a vacation. I just prefer them to have a great that's kind of what I think like they're going for right now, which is why look, it's like sometimes if they were 30 if they were 33 years old, let's just take it back like 3-4 years, like they probably win tonight's game. But again, like the frustration isn't so much like I think older guys are struggling, they just are. But it's can you get better minutes from the younger guys moving forward against Memphis? Can some of the guys play better to support so you can win that game by 15 points so you don't have to play a crunch time game? I think these things start to really matter. They didn't matter as much when you and I were watching the Warriors in 2019. Definitely not in 2015. Like it didn't matter. Now back then they would win every game by 20 points, so it's different. But it's like nowadays it's like these games do matter where it's like, hey, Memphis, if in that Memphis game, if Ja isn't playing and you're up 18 points in the third quarter, can you keep Steph and Jimmy off the court in the fourth?
Can you get right? That's key. Yeah.
Like that's probably more important. Like just it gives you a chance now to win the Clippers game the next night. So
Draymond, I would say for Draymond, just if you're gonna punch like some European center, can we keep it to like the easy part of the schedule? Like let's work your suspension like a little bit down the line when the Warriors have established themselves as a good team, and that's when you can take your PTO.
Draymond,
let's
getting after.
I'm not even worried about Draymond's health. I'm worried about Draymond's temperament more than anything. So
well, who isn't? Yeah, who isn't? All right. Well, I think that's it for tonight. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for jumping on, and we'll be back Sunday. All right, guys.
Awesome. See you guys.